Lots of comedians have been fired from Saturday Night Live, but only one got almost the entire cast canned with a 4-letter slip. Nasim Pedrad joined Saturday Night Live at the start of the 2009 season, making SNL history as the first Iranian-born cast member, and exited after 5 seasons. It didn't take her long to find work. Immediately after leaving the show in 2014, she was cast in Mulaney, a Fox sitcom created by and starring former SNL writer John Mulaney. During an appearance at the Television Critics Association Summer Press Tour that year, Pedrad explained her decision to quit SNL. "Obviously, there's nothing like that show, and I was lucky to be there for 5 years. At some point, you have to leave, and I can't think of a better reason to leave than for this particular show and this particular cast." Despite the talent involved, Mulaney was trashed by TV critics and was canceled after 1 season. Pedrad, however, has remained a hot commodity in television and film, appearing in Disney's live-action remake of Aladdin and starring in the quirky TV comedy Chad, where she plays a 14-year-old boy. Taran Killam was hired by SNL in 2010. In 2016, his contract wasn't renewed. The actor told Uproxx that his firing came as a surprise. "You signed for 7 years, so I had 1 more year. I had sort of had it in my head I would make this upcoming year my last year, but then heard they weren't going to pick up my contract. I was never given a reason why, really." He later told the I Was There Too podcast that the environment at SNL changed for the worse after the departure of Seth Meyers in 2014. When Seth Meyers left the show, the dynamic changed quite a bit. "He was the last person there who I witnessed really collaborate with Lorne, as opposed to just kind of do what Lorne says." Since leaving, Killam has kept busy with several film projects, including Killing Gunther, which he wrote and directed, and which starred the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger. He also starred in the ABC sitcom Single Parents, which ran from 2018 until 2020. The 2016 announcement of Taran Killam's firing from Saturday Night Live was accompanied by that of Jay Pharoah, who, like Killam, had been a cast member since 2010. A year after his firing, Pharoah spoke about his exit from the show during a radio interview with Hot 97. "You go where you're appreciated. You have multiple people on the cast saying things like, 'You're so talented and you're able, and they don't use you. It's unfair, and it's making us feel bad because they don't use you, and you're a talent.'"
They put people into boxes. And, whatever they want you to do, they expect you to do.
Pharoah followed up his SNL stint by starring in the Showtime comedy White Famous, which ran for a single season in 2017. He's also voiced Kanye West on multiple episodes of Family Guy and appeared on the celebrity bartending competition Barmageddon. Pharoah also made headlines in 2020, not for his acting work, but for being accosted by LAPD officers while out for a run, when he was mistaken for a suspect and detained by having an officer handcuff him and kneel on his neck. Luke Knoll's time on Saturday Night Live was so fleeting that some viewers may not even remember him. Knoll joined the show at the start of the 2017 season, but was let go before the next one. During his single season, Knoll did have a few standout moments, such as a sketch in which he played an obnoxious high school student who disrupted class. In another, he portrayed an extremely heavy metal fan who meets with a surgeon in hopes of getting his demon-style horns surgically removed. Speaking with Vulture after his SNL exit, he said, "I was only ever there 1 year. I had 1 season, and you definitely have a lot of questions looking back. Did I do something wrong? Was I not writing good enough stuff?" Honestly, looking back, knowing how the show works, the mechanisms and the politics and its energy, it's a very tense and stressful place. No one there is having fun. Knoll also said that while it was tough to break out in a cast packed with established performers, he felt he wasn't really given much of a chance. "It was hard to leave and not think I didn't get much of an at-bat." Bobby Moynihan joined Saturday Night Live in 2008, quickly becoming a fan favorite thanks to such popular characters as Drunk Uncle and Jersey Shore star Nicole Snooki Polizzi. Moynihan left the show of his own accord in 2017 and immediately landed the lead role in the CBS sitcom Me, Myself, and I. While promoting the show at the 2017 edition of the Television Critics Association Summer Press Tour, Moynihan opened up about his decision to leave SNL. "The day you get SNL, you start worrying about your exit from SNL. That was always on my mind. I was an acting major in college. I would like to show people I can play a grown man instead of just dressing up like Rosie O'Donnell."
It's nice to not wear a diaper or dress like a lady for a little bit. It's nice to actually play a human adult male with real problems.
Me, Myself, and I wasn't the hit Moynihan had hoped for, and was yanked off the air after just 6 low-rated episodes. Moynihan, however, landed on his feet. In addition to numerous TV guest spots and voice roles, he subsequently became a series regular on the Ted Danson starring NBC sitcom Mr. Mayor. Vanessa Bayer became a Saturday Night Live standout during her 7-season stint on the show, beginning in 2010 and concluding in 2017. that was largely due to her likable on-screen persona and such characters as her hilariously heightened take on Jennifer Aniston's Friends character Rachel Green. She also featured in SNL's cult classic line of fake Totino's commercials, where she just has to feed her hungry guys.
Oh, fumble! What's happening to my hungry guys?
Bayer told The Hollywood Reporter that she decided to leave the show for a simple reason. She just felt like she had been there long enough. It felt like it was time for me. I had 7 seasons and just felt like it was time for someone else to do that job. She also revealed that her favorite character on the show was Jacob the Bar Mitzvah Boy. He feels the closest to my personality. The shyness and awkwardness is at the core of me. As for how her fellow cast members responded to her exit, Bayer told HuffPost, "I feel like everyone was supportive and will miss you, but we understand. It's a very hectic schedule, so it's like, after 7 years, I want to take a nap." Bayer's post-SNL roles have included several guest spots on sitcoms, including Brooklyn Nine-Nine and NBC's Will and Grace revival. In addition, she headlined her own Showtime comedy, I Love That For You, which was loosely based on her experience as a survivor of childhood leukemia. In August 2015, Sasheer Zamata was hired, becoming the first Black woman to be a full-time cast member since Maya Rudolph left the show in 2007. Zamata's hiring was seen as a response to criticism that had long been leveled at SNL creator Lorne Michaels for the show's lack of Black female cast members. Zamata wound up quitting the show after 4 seasons. During a 2019 panel discussion hosted by New York Magazine's The Cut, she explained that working on the show just wasn't what she had expected. So it was a couple years of figuring out, am I okay with this? Do I want to just accept it as is and be like, that's just a job and I guess I'll just stay and take it like everybody else? Or do I want to try something else that makes me feel really good and work with people who excite me and who are excited about me and want to create things that make us feel fulfilled? Since leaving SNL, Zamata has appeared in numerous TV shows, including Woke and Home Economics. Beck Bennett was one of 6 actors hired for the cast of Saturday Night Live in 2013, and quickly established himself as the go-to guy for quirky impressions, whether it was drunken Tom Brady or perpetually shirtless Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. During host Scarlett Johansson's 2019 monologue, Bennett poked fun at the niche he'd carved out by jokingly lamenting,
You need me! Who's gonna play the dumb idiot?
In 2021, Bennett announced on Instagram that he was leaving the show, writing, "Thank you for 8 years of remarkable people and incredible experiences that completely changed my life." Speaking with Time, Bennett revealed that he left the show because he wanted to focus on his family and his relationship with his wife, Jessie Hodges. "It's been 8 years of basically long distance with my wife, and if we are going to start a family at any point, I think we have to start that at some point soon." The couple didn't wait long before setting that plan in action. In May 2022, Hodges announced via Instagram that they'd welcome their first child. Aidy Bryant's SNL journey began in 2012 and lasted a full decade. After her departure in 2022, Bryant discussed her decision to leave during an interview with Variety, revealing that the pandemic actually led her to stick around longer than she'd anticipated. "If it weren't for COVID, I probably would have left a few years earlier, but it was such a huge change. When COVID hit, it was so jarring that we were all like, I'm definitely going to come back next year." However, Bryant's commitment to her Hulu series Shrill, which she co-created and starred in, forced her to miss several episodes that season. She said, "I kept trying to seek one last normal year. This year wasn't the normal year that I hoped for, but it was closer to that. It was like, okay, it's really time now." And 10 felt like a nice, solid round number. Shrill also ended in 2021, but Bryant told Variety that she isn't waiting around for the phone to ring and is already working on creating her next project. "I'm not comfortable waiting for roles because I haven't had great success there. Everything that has worked for me has been by writing it myself." Kate McKinnon was an SNL MVP during her 10-year run on the show, thanks to brilliant impressions of celebs ranging from Justin Bieber to Hillary Clinton. During her stint, McKinnon had also established herself as a sought-after actor outside the show, in films such as Ghostbusters and Office Christmas Party, even showcasing her dramatic chops, portraying Carol Baskin in the Tiger King-inspired TV series Joe vs. Carol. Her decision to leave the show in 2022 didn't come lightly. During an appearance on Live with Kelly and Ryan, she explained, "I thought about it for a very long time, and it was very, very hard, because all I ever wanted to do in my whole life was be on Saturday Night Live, and so I did. I loved it."
I had the best decade, and then I was just like, my body was tired, and I felt like it was time.
Asked what she planned to do with her Saturday nights, McKinnon admitted that it would probably be some time before she tuned in to watch any new episodes.
I don't know what I will do. I don't know that I can watch the show yet because it's just too emo, because I miss everyone so much.
Joining Saturday Night Live in 2016, Melissa Villaseñor quickly became a standout for her eye-popping array of celebrity impressions, many of which she showcased in a single sketch that saw her nail impressions of Kristen Wiig, Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Kathy Griffin, and even SNL co-star Kate McKinnon. Her time on the show came to an end in 2022 after 6 seasons, and she revealed on Daily Beast The Last Laugh podcast that she made the decision to leave in large part because of her mental health. Last season, I had a couple of panic attacks. I think it was just, I was struggling. I always felt like I was on the edge of a cliff every week. And I was like, I don't want to be doing that to myself anymore. And it's not like the show was mean toward me or anyone. It was just how I handle things. After her SNL exit, Villaseñor branched out into new territory by releasing her first book, Whoops, I'm Awesome. She told Entertainment Weekly, I like telling people it's a book for an adult's inner child. When he joined the show in 2014, 20-year-old Pete Davidson was one of the youngest ever Saturday Night Live cast members. He quickly made a mark with his hilarious Weekend Update appearances as himself, but he eventually became a tabloid staple thanks to a string of relationships with famous women, including Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian. Thanks to his breakout status on the show, Davidson also hit the big screen with roles in The Suicide Squad and a star turn in The King of Staten Island, the 2020 Judd Apatow directed feature, loosely based on Davidson's real life as the son of a Staten Island firefighter who died on 9/11. In May 2022, Davidson announced via Instagram that he was leaving SNL, writing, I owe Lorne Michaels and everyone at SNL my life. The writing had been on the wall for a while though. In 2021, he got candid about the harsh competition behind the scenes during an appearance on Live Your Truth, an honest conversation with Charlemagne the God, saying, as far as everyone else, it's a cutthroat show. Everyone's trying to get their on. Everyone wants to be the next thing. Then in June 2021, he hinted at his looming exit, telling Gold Derby, it is my 7th year, and that's what the contract is usually for. I started there with acne and left with tattoos. After joining Saturday Night Live in 2017, Chris Redd stayed on the show for 5 years before leaving in 2022. In an exit statement to Entertainment Weekly, he said, being a part of SNL has been the experience of a lifetime. While 5 years is hardly one of the show's lengthier stints, it was a year longer than Redd had envisioned. In an appearance on the WTF podcast with Marc Maron, he revealed that he had planned to leave earlier, as he always had mixed feelings about the show. I was screaming 4 years forever. I always loved that job as much as I hated the job. He expanded on this in an interview with Gold Derby, saying, it is dream work and I did have a lot of fun. But nah man, I'm not going to sit here and be like, it was my dream, because I feel like it takes away from the people who were really dreaming about this when they were kids. Following his SNL departure, Redd returned to his stand-up comedy roots with his own HBO Max special, Chris Redd, Why Am I Like This? When Cecily Strong appeared in her final episode of SNL in December 2022, she'd been a cast member since 2012. During the show, Strong referenced her departure as recurring character Kathy Ann. During Weekend Update, of course, the character announced she was ending her run on the segment because she was being sent to jail. Still, it was clear that Strong was really talking about herself and her time on SNL.
But I had a lot of fun here. And I feel really lucky that I got to have so many of the best moments of my life in this place.
Strong shared a statement on her exit in a subsequent Instagram post, reflecting on her decision to leave. I am ready to go, but I'll always know home is here. I've had the time of my life working with the greatest people on earth. Strong also apologized for keeping the news under wraps until the last minute, but offered a poignant explanation, writing, I'm sorry I've been a little quiet about it publicly. I didn't want the extra pressure on something already so emotional for me. Thankfully, Strong's fans didn't have to wait long for her next project. In April 2023, she and Keegan-Michael Key's movie musical spoof series, Schmigadoon, premiered its 2nd season on Apple TV+. In September 2019, a Saturday Night Live press release announced 3 new hires, one of whom was comedian Shane Gillis. Almost immediately after the announcement, journalist Seth Simon posted a video of Gillis taken from a podcast on Twitter, in which the comedian uses racially insensitive terms for Asian Americans. Backlash ensued, and SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels acted quickly. He axed Gillis before he ever appeared on the show. A spokesperson for Michaels said in a statement to CNN, after talking with Shane Gillis, we have decided that he will not be joining SNL. We were not aware of his prior remarks that have surfaced over the past few days. The language he used is offensive, hurtful, and unacceptable. We are sorry that we did not see these clips earlier, and that our vetting process was not up to our standard. Gillis responded in a since-deleted tweet, writing in part, I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. After the show's 5th season, every remaining member of the original Saturday Night Live cast left, along with creator Lorne Michaels. This led to NBC hiring a new producer, Gene Dumanian, and a whole new cast. The result was a season that is generally agreed to be one of the show's worst. Yet one moment remains legendary, when cast member Charles Rocket dropped an F-bomb on live television.
Charlie, how are you feeling after you've been shot?
Oh man, it's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who did it.
By that point, ratings had nosedived, and it had become painfully clear to anyone watching that SNL had become an unmitigated disaster. Dumanian was fired after the incident, as were several members of the cast. Rocket, predictably, was among them. Dumanian told The Hollywood Reporter that the network used the F-bomb as a convenient excuse. I just thought it was quite unfair. While Rocket continued to work steadily in Hollywood following the infamous incident, appearing in films like Dances with Wolves and Dumb and Dumber, he was tragically found dead in a field near his home in 2005. The medical examiner ruled the death a suicide. He was 56. If you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or text HOME to the crisis text line at 741-741.